happened was that they had this going, the elevator control unit that received the commands from the top of the elevator was back into the same room that had all of the pulleys and everything, because it was hardwired into the elevator. Well, the problem was that they kept having trouble with the dirt and everything, and the dust and everything that was in that room. It was a little bit of an older one, creating problems with that unit. So they wanted to move the unit into a cleaner room where the receiver for the Wiegand signal went into, and then they shot the relays commands over to the top of the elevator, then to tell it which floor to go to and that kind of thing. So a lot of different options. It can be used for different things. Brad, do you have your presentation up so that you can control it now?
I do, but it says that the host has disabled attendee screen sharing and it's not letting me take over.
Okay, let me see if I can make you the host. I think I can assign it. Just a moment. I'm sure that all the people smarter than I know how to do this. I think I can reassign. Any thoughts on there on how to reassign?
If you go over and hover over my picture, and there's 3 little dots that pop up, I believe that's where you reassign it, but I'm not 100% sure.
Okay, I see that I can do a lot of, make host. There we go. All right. Brad, you should have the hosting now. And also I will stop my share and you can add yours. Are you there? Thank you for your patience, everyone. We're trying to do this from 2 locations. There we go. Can everyone see Brad's screen share? Okay. So, all right, go ahead, Brad, when you're ready. Let's go ahead and keep rolling.
Okay. This was one of the uses in an elevator. Just a little picture of that. And do we want to go over portable access point? It's not necessarily new, but it is fairly new.
Well, let's ask those who are with us. This is a portable point that you can use cards to piggyback onto an already useful access control system to do contact tracing, be able to do emergency mustering places, or even take roll at OSHA meetings or whatever for a company. Would you like just to go over some of the specs on this? Is this something that you have not seen yet? Maybe either shoot it into the chat, or yes or no. Would you guys like to spend some time on the portable access point? We had a guy who was putting in about 27 of these at a hospital, so that they can tell where the people have been due to the pandemic COVID issues. I'm not getting, Dave, I see your face. Would you like us to go over this? Are you familiar with this product?
I am familiar with that for forklift use and some other applications I've seen. It's a neat product.
Okay, okay. Have you used any of these for the forklift use?
I have proposed them on a few different jobs for industrial sites I've seen, but I've not seen anything come back. And that was it might have been a month and a half or so ago. So we'll see kind of where that goes. But yeah, this is definitely something in our back pocket we've been looking at.
Okay, great. This is just basically can allow this thing to, whether it's a forklift or this is can be used as a emergency mustering or wherever. It can be used a lot of different ways. Brad, do you want to just play that short video for him?
Sure.
In recent months, the world has become intimately familiar with new phrases like social distancing, pandemic, quarantine, flattening the curve, and contact tracing. With so many new concepts, it seems there are more questions than answers. One question commonly asked is, how do we contact trace infected people without infringing on privacy? Another, how are we going to return to universities, high schools, and elementaries and manage contact tracing of such a large number of people with varying schedules, traffic patterns, and day-to-day interactions? An administrator from a university in Texas called me with this concern, and we discussed in depth multiple solutions using the unique Surefi technology. Surefi has an answer. By using our portable access point, students scan a student card, and schools can track when a specific student enters or exits a library, classroom, or anywhere on campus. These units can be deployed anywhere because of the robust Surefi radio signal to log the activity information on the organization's access control or student data system, which can then be referred to when an individual tests positive for COVID. As an example, knowing exactly who is in the library at the same time as the infected individual simplifies and accelerates the ability to identify those who have possibly been exposed. This same concept and Surefi product can be used in airports, businesses, factories, or anywhere contact tracing is needed. The Surefi Portable Access Point, which enables privacy-protecting contact tracing, gets us back to school, work, and life.
Right, so that's just our little portable kit, and we've sold a lot of them, and it's been very, very useful. All right, we've already gone over we kind of went out of order on these slides a little bit. I want to jump down to this Serial Pro Bridge next. That's okay, John. This is one that we've launched really recently within the last few weeks. We've had it under development for a while, so you may have heard us talk about it because we are excited about it. This will do serial data in RS-232 or 485 scenarios, and it also has 2 relays on it, and it's really good for low data or event-driven applications. And so we've used this in one location, and I can just show you this quick little video where the wire between an expansion board that was installed in another building and the main building where the controller was, the wire had been compromised. And so instead of trenching and redoing that wire, they were able to put one of these devices in and just use that expansion board in a different building.
The new serial data bridge from Surefi is nearing completion in its development. Bryce from Omni Security in Idaho found a great application where this product can save a great deal of time in an access control situation. The serial data bridge is designed to accommodate RS-232 and 485 protocols, and this use case is connecting an RBH Integra 32 controller to a 4-door expansion board on the other side of the school. Normally, you would have to pull control wire from the controller all the way out to the 4-door expansion board, or use Surefi units at each door. As you can see, Bryce here is connecting the RS-232 wires just as you would if it were hardwired into the RS-232 in, out, and ground ports. He then connects the remote side the same way, sets it inside a metal box, and we are set to go. No wires, no hassle. This serial data bridge allows integrators flexibility in planning which doors to make wireless and how to design their system. The Surefi serial data bridge is another way Surefi is making your job easier.
So I threw in the chat, Brad, a question. Where are you using RS-45232 that we could possibly use this for to make some of your applications easier? Is it something that we're using at all? I know that we use it in ISP monitoring and a lot of different other places. Are you folks using it in anything that you're doing?
Yeah, so we can definitely use it for controller communications and things like that where wiring's gone bad, or even on new installs where maybe getting access. I mean, you could use the other access control box for the same thing, right? But as far as putting controller communications, just like you had in your video, also, you've got a lot of call boxes that are out there, right? Door King call boxes, things like that.
Mhm.
Sometimes that wiring goes bad, and if you you could actually probably use the Door King server, computer in a leasing office, get rid of the internet connection or whatever that needs to connect for that, and you could essentially connect that over that as well, potentially through the computer
Yeah.
data if you can do 485. So
Yeah, and one thing we've noticed, just to give you kind of perspective, this moves data in in a scenario where you have event-driven information going back and forth. Like, for example, there was a expansion board, an 8-door expansion board that every 10 minutes sent back information to the head end. That worked out fine because, yes, we had a big data dump, but on the other hand, we have a little bit of a backlog that can catch up if it's moving a little faster. But if it constantly is polling a lot of information, then we get a little behind because of the trade-off with the high penetrating radio. With voice, however, even though we have been able to do some compression in the lab and send voice across,
really,
using this, that is not yet set up to do that. It's a little bit of a bridge too far for us to move that much data. But we actually have a video on our YouTube channel of us doing a voice test, but it is needing a compression board that was something that we purchased outside of what we're doing, and we're working on developing a new radio that will do this. But currently, it does not move voice in its current commercial version. Did I explain that well enough? I don't know.
yeah, voice would be incredible with those, but obviously
Yeah,
the
it would
higher
be.
rates would be. Yep.
Yeah, and like I said, we're working toward it because once you do voice, you can put it into radios. We've been in discussions with a lot of the commercial radios because you go into, you take a fireman and you put him into a building, deep into a building, that radio doesn't get out, but Surefi does. And so if he can have a commercial radio with voice coming across the Surefi signal, then that changes the game for a lot of scenarios. So thank you, great option. Other thoughts? Okay. If you have something, please chime in. We'd love to talk about that. Brad, you want to go over this little slide?
Yeah. So what we have found is because of our radio and the heavy penetration, we do sacrifice a little bit with bandwidth. We've designed our radios to have lower bandwidth so that we can do the heavy penetration and long distances. And so we have this bridge, but we do have, like John was talking about, some limitations as far as video and voice. We can't do. We can do voice, but we're still into some development with compression and things like that on our radio. But we can do the RS-232. We kind of went over the things we could do on the last slide, but one of the things that we just want to state is anything that transmits data over 1.2 kilobits per second, we're going to struggle with that or not be able to do it. Full duplexing transmissions. Systems that pull consistently. They're always transmitting data, whether there's a change or not. If we talk to those companies, sometimes we can ask them not to pull so much, or we can work with it and kind of trick the system into pulling and only change or read the pulling and then only send the duplexing out. And so just because it's not compatible with a system doesn't mean that our engineers can't talk to their engineers. We might be able to come up with a solution, but if the system is continually pulling on each side without some interaction, we're not going to be able to send a lot high pulling transmissions.
Also, Brad, can I jump in for one thing on that?
Absolutely.
Thank you. One example of how this works with the very slow polling scenario is we put this in on agricultural pivots that they could send from the center point of the agricultural pivot out to the farmer's house or whatever a mile away and get that information. Now it does do serial data, it's RS-232, but it only sends it about every 30 seconds, and it sends a little blurb. 30 seconds later, another blurb, and then it will send back all of the controls. And this works, this is a perfect application for that type of thing. ISP as well sends up, hey, what's going on? What's wrong with you? It sends that information back. So thank you.
Yep. Right now, it's not compatible with OSDP devices, such as fingerprint readers, eye scanners, things like that. But we are working on an Access Pro wireless bridge that will, we're told will do OSDP. So we're excited for that one that's coming out, our Pro bridge, hopefully this year. And then it also isn't compatible with systems that require sub-second latency. So anything that's really required, excuse me, anything that's requiring really, really fast transmissions is not going to work with it. But
One
other
thing
than
that we
that,
found, oh, sorry, Brad.
I was going to say, I hate to be the Daisy Downer kind of person, but it works really well in the situations like the pivots, the internet monitoring, any kind of a system where it's low data or event driven. This works fabulous. We've been testing it for a long time, and it does really well.
There was another application like this up in a logging facility where they had some tanks that had different types of sensors in them, and they just needed that sensor data sent, and it was just one of those things that constantly sends, but it was very low data, so it worked out great. So this may or may not be a great fit for what you're needing, but it's just another arrow in the quiver that Surefi can give you for some of the solutions you may be looking for. All right. Brad, let's go on to should we go on to the emergency? Oh,
Yep.
Please.
Yes, I have a question. Well, I'm not an engineer. I'm an executive assistant, but I'm really interested in, let's take this wireless bridge. How much of an upgrade is it to a currently bridge that is most used in industry?
Well, first of all, we don't even have a peer in the industry because nobody else has the type of radio technology that we have. So what happens is there are wireless serial point-to-point type of things, line of sight, but nobody can get it through heavy obstruction, through walls and through, doors and buildings and that kind of thing. So there really is no competition in the industry for our radio, but compared to, like a wireless internet signal that goes point to point and has to be line of sight, we're substantially slower, but we don't have to go point to point. And so it's a different animal.
Yeah, thank you.
You bet. I don't know if that answered everything you were thinking or not.
Yeah, like most of it. Thank you.
Was there something else I can answer for you that I didn't clarify?
Well, I'm currently getting the picture of it all because like I said, I'm not an engineer, so it's all new to me.
No, it's great. Thank you for joining us today. We really appreciate it. Something that I think you'll find is that because we use much different technology than standard 900 megahertz, we use what's called chirp modulation. It's based on the same concept as LoRa, but we have enhanced it substantially with because the secret sauce is in the coding and the way it's handling all of the information. And that's where we differentiate ourselves from anything else in the industry. And so we can go places and get through stuff and transfer data where nobody else can. We did one that was 8.5 miles across Phoenix for an ISP monitoring. So anyway, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. One of the scenarios in which we have found to be able to use our low voltage wireless bridge is in an emergency egress. And one of the situations where an installer came to us and said, hey, can I use this in this situation? And we looked and we said, yeah, we think you absolutely can. And so he went ahead and did that. And he's put this in a Knox box system where at the push of a button, he was able to unlock multiple doors throughout an HOA. And I've got a little video we can show with that as well. But we've also used it, or we've also seen people use it in a situation where when a fire alarm is going off in one building on a campus, and they may want other buildings to know that there is an alarm going off in another building, they can use this to send the signal to those other buildings and just let those fire systems know, hey, there's an alarm going off in another building, and trigger that notification, whether it sets off an alarm or a notification or sends out an email, whatever system it's set to, just to notify other buildings nearby that, hey, there's an alarm going off.
And part of the reason we can do that is this is a one to multiple. You can have 8 units receiving the same signals, and then they also all with 8 relays out and 2 relays back. So basically you can have all of that enunciation and reset on any fire. Now, I don't know if any of you do fire. I don't know if any of you do alarms like that, but it really has been a handy thing. And like I said, they're doing some of those right now.
So yeah, let's go ahead and show the video on this push of a button.
Building. Emergency access is needed.
Entry. Time consuming.
Every second matters.
When seconds count, first responders have to get in to save lives. The sooner they get in, the more they can save and better the chance they stay alive. Lakeside Apartments is a large HOA in Irving, Texas. They hired Jonathan with Doors in Motion to install a single button in a Knox box that, when pressed, opens all the common areas like the gates, clubhouse, and pool areas all at once. By using the one-to-many aspects of Surefi, he was able to interrupt the normally closed door hardware, allowing firemen access in any emergency with a standalone Surefi controlled system. Surefi, giving emergency personnel the fastest access.
So that was kind of a one to multiple. We actually had, I think, 27. Was that right, Brad? I think 27 points.
I think there were 27 doors that opened, and we just, because we go 1 to 8, we can, for an out signal, we can go 1 to I don't know that there is a limit, but yeah, for the signal back, we can only send out 8 different signals, but you can hook up multiple receivers on that. So I think that one was 27 doors.
And you can also connect multiple senders. So when they do next to 3 of those and they send to 8 each, and there you have 24, or whatever it was. So anyway, thoughts, is this something that you see could be helpful? When you go into fires, there's certain things that you can legally do and certain things you can legally not do. The authority having jurisdiction, the AHJ, is the thing that determines what you can do and what you can't. And some people have taken it to them and said, hey, this is what we're doing. This is what we'd like to do. And they've signed off on it fine. With just doing the doors, though, then you're good to go. That's not considered fire. So thoughts on this one? Or ideas that you've had that we haven't covered? Okay. Let's, Brad, I don't know if you want to go, is there anything else we want to go through or answer any questions today?
Nope.
Okay. Any thoughts that you're having that say, hey, we could use this radio for this? Any ideas that you have that might be helpful? Things that you're thinking about? Dave had to slip out for a second. Anything, Dave, that you're thinking about that that you're saying, hey, this could be used for that if we just tweaked this, or exploring something else with this radio? Love to hear your input.
I've got lots of ideas, but I won't share it in this group. I can share it directly with you guys if you'd like.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I would love that.
And here's our contact. So if you'll just take down, just give either of us a call, and maybe we'll have some thoughts that we can share, and things that we can develop that would help your companies out. So, all right. If there are no other questions, appreciate you joining us for this. That's what's new at Surefi for this month. And next month, I'm sure we'll have some new things as well. Any questions before we go?
Yes. Can I get a copy of this recording?
Sure. In fact, what we'll do is we will post it, the URL to it on our website under this, and then you can go to that. And if you want to download it from there, that would be fine.
Okay. I'm gonna have my senior get in contact with you. I don't think I'd be able to stay on the line and have that one-on-one conversation right now. I have another appointment.
Okay.
That'll be just fine.
We'll definitely reach out to you.
Sounds great. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a safe time out there, and please contact us with any other ideas you'd like to discuss.
Thank you for your time.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good one.
Bye.